Hello, leaders of the world. Welcome to Spread Love in Organizations, a podcast for purpose-driven healthcare leaders striving to make life better around the world by leading their teams with genuine care, servant leadership, and love. This episode is very special. In partnership with ESCP Business School, I'll be giving the mic to students, our leaders of tomorrow, to discuss with incredible healthcare executives about their journeys and leadership beliefs.
Hello, I'm Roman.
And I am Lisa,
specialized master student at ESCP Business School in Paris. Well-rounded leader is surely the best way to define our guest of the day, an inspiring leader, Olivier Nataf. He shared with us his vision of the leader and his mantra, learn and perform. Keep on learning and progressing while being result-oriented to have an impact. He believed that whatever is good for the patient is good for the company, a wonderful vision of caring leadership. Olivier first pursued a scientific training in cellular and molecular biology, and then a master's degree specialized in pharmacology and oncology. He completed his scientific training at the ESCP Business School with a specialized master in biopharmaceutical management. He started his career at AstraZeneca as a trainee in 2001, and then successfully moved up the ranks both in France and in the USA. He has held many different positions. He began as a product manager and then changed his position on average every 2 years until today as the country president of France. From your personal and professional experiences, what made you the leader you are today?
Thanks. So first, thank you for the invitation. It's really an honor to be here with you today. In your introduction, and thank you for the nice words. You have also described many of the things that I think I'm going to say today, right, in answering your questions. And so the first thing is really personally, I and maybe like you guys, because I think that's why we enter and join this industry. I always wanted to make a difference. As a kid, actually, my family, like many others, was unfortunately touched by cancer, and I lost my grandfather to cancer and many other family members. And from that point on, that's been a purpose that has guided me today. And then from that point on, as joining in the industry and some of the professional experiences that I had brought me different things. The first thing is not calculating your career, trying to be yourself and focusing again, as you mentioned, on learning and performing. I think that's the simplest thing I found, because if you try to play the chess, if you try to anticipate your next move and be driven by this, sometimes, it doesn't lead to many successes. So I think that being results oriented and making sure you have an impact in everything you do is really something that shaped me tremendously. I learned a lot also from leaders who I did not want to become, people that I did not really appreciate. And I was really observing, what I didn't appreciate about them. And that taught me actually a lot, as much as actually leaders that inspired me. And obviously, you learn a lot from failures. And for about 3 to 4 years, I had really a down in my career. And also that was at the time when AstraZeneca reorganized. And so unfortunately, a lot of people had to go. So I lost my job 3 times while I was in the US and had to find something new. And so that was not really easy. And I was really under the radar from a career development standpoint. So I was not really getting the jobs I wanted or were interesting to me. But at the same time, it taught me a lot in terms of resilience. And in terms, again, that's when I learned the learn and perform that I always repeat. Because whatever I was trying to do, even if it was not my best passion or the job I really wanted, I always try to get the most out of it and to deliver performance for the company.
So we'd like to know, in your career path, you started your very first internship after ESCP at AstraZeneca. And 20 years later, you're still in the same company as the GM and president of France. How would you explain your loyalty to your company? And what would you say to the new generations who change very quickly from one company to another?
Right. I don't know if it's actually loyalty or if it's opportunities too. I was very lucky with AstraZeneca to always have been satisfied somehow in my development, except for the years I was describing, but at the time it was a little bit difficult to change job. But in the end, this company is really focused on developing people and giving opportunities. So I think that I did not really have to be interested in looking at other places and very often. And advice I would give to the young generation or younger generation and anyone actually is to not be mercenaries, right? I mean, don't try to chase a title or a paycheck or focus and specifically your first 10 15 years of career on learning your craft and demonstrating your ability to make a difference and deliver results. I mean, I'm going back always to the same thing, and I apologize for this, the learn and perform kind of thing, right? But not organizing things this way, but now that I look back at my career, I realized that for the first 8 to 10 years, I really focused and learned sales and marketing, which is my expertise. I'm a commercial person. But then I moved on to a broader responsibility, and I learned early development of drugs, working with R&D, working with access, working on commercial excellence. And that's when I focused also and had jobs on commercial capabilities. That was 3-4 years of my life. And then I moved up and on, and I learned a little bit more about HR, about finance, a little bit more about access again, right? Because access is absolutely critical regardless of the country or geography you work in. And so progressively you can break down, your career by big chunks and trying to learn specific functions if you aspire to be a sort of general manager and being able to lead pretty much any type of topic, even if you're not the expert of everything, right? But you have to learn your craft. And that's why I talk about being a well-rounded leader, is that you can look at different functions, you can look at different therapeutic areas, you can look at different geographies, and you can look at different positions yourself in the matrix of the organization. You're an individual contributor, you're an expert, you're a leader, you're an influencer. You have to learn all these things in order to make a good career. So focus on this rather than, again, chasing the title or the paycheck.
To talk a bit about the current pandemic and crisis, how did you manage, communicate, and reassure your teams? What skills did you learn from this crisis?
Yeah, this is a big question, a big topic, right? And I think that the first word and the first automatic sort of reflex was to protect, right? I mean, reassuring goes with also protection. And it's funny how I think our decisions and leadership have been influenced more than ever by how we felt as a person, as a citizen, as we are really, really even more equal in those situations than any other time. And so you start to think just as a person yourself, as a dad, as a family member, and you think that people need to be protected. And so that's a really strong feeling that I had and that we had with our leadership team of saying, we need to take care of our people because the company is actually a social network. And that's where you can find help. That's where you can find an ear sometimes when you need it. Obviously, the company cannot do everything for you, but at the same time, we dedicate so much time working that you need to make sure that you find help, you find support. And also, you are not going to find a place that is going to make your life more complicated than it already is in this kind of situation, right? So I always set high standard, and sometimes, I'm pretty sure that people who work with me could say that they feel under pressure at times, and I would recognize this easily. But that was a time when there was no pressure because there couldn't be. We needed to focus on other things. We need to focus on something else. And even for salespeople, we actually guaranteed somehow their bonuses for about 6 months because we just needed to first protect, reassure, to your point. And in terms of communication, I was very, very surprised because we had a weekly Monday from 11 to 12 a.m. Where everyone could connect on Zoom. And we were about 750 people at AstraZeneca in France at that time. I think we had never less than 690 people connected each and every week. Just 5-10 minutes of information, and from let's say the top down kind of sharing. But then it was an open Q&A and an open discussion, and I think people felt good about it. And so we created now the AZ Cafe, actually on a monthly basis, kind of to follow up on this situation that happened that was really weekly and everyone was connected. And on a monthly basis, just an open Q&A, we still have 250 to 400 people connected, even if we're not in a crisis. And so I think we maintained and kind of developed a new type of connection that we didn't have before somehow.
Those are great examples of what caring leadership truly is. We know that your definition of leadership is characterized by 3 elements: well-rounded leader, learn and perform, and being set up for success. If you had to choose just one trait that an ideal leader should have, what should it be?
So it's very difficult, of course, but I like that you're forcing me to make a choice. So I think the king of trait for a leader is the visionary, right? And a vision has to be aspirational. And to summarize it in a quote that really inspires me, it's a quote from Mark Twain, the author, that says, "They did not know it was impossible, so they did it." Right? They did not know it was impossible, so they did it. And that's something that I have been articulating a lot with my team, because I truly believe that nothing is really impossible. It's just a matter of angle. It's just a matter of how you're going to break down the challenge, the problem that you have, and solve it, piece by piece, step by step, turn each and every stone, and make sure that basically you defined a goal that you're going to be able in the end to achieve, even if it sounds very complicated at first. You have to have patience, you have to have resilience, you have to learn to fail, you have to recognize that you're failing and failing fast, but then you have to be able to go back on your horse and move on and move forward, right? And then in the end, you realize that not much is really, really impossible. And to this day, I mean, I haven't really experienced anything that was fundamentally impossible and that we were not able to achieve or get close to a result, or reshape the way we were looking at the situation so that we deliver something, an impact, and make progress along the way. So I think this vision, an aspirational vision, an inspirational vision, and believing that everything is possible just if you break problems down and if you collaborate, of course, is something that I think is an important trait for a leader.
So now I would like to jump to another section. I will give you one word and want to get your reaction.
Okay.
If I tell you leadership.
Well, I'll repeat vision.
Okay. If I tell you MSM.
MSM, acronyms of the masters, I guess. Learning.
And finally, spread love in organizations.
Speak up. Listen and care.
And for the last word, if I tell you purpose.
Patience. Because that's, I think, why we are in the business we're in.
Any final word of wisdom for healthcare leaders around the world?
Well, I'll repeat what you said that matters to me at the beginning in your introduction, and that is something that I repeat very, very often to my team, and strongly believe in it. What's right for the patients is right for the business. I mean, there's no other place, no other industry where I think you can make these choices in such a simple way. whatever therapy you're going to bring, whatever therapeutic solution you're going to bring, diagnostic solution that is going to have a positive impact on patients' health, on patients' life, is going to have an impact on the business. Because obviously, at some point, giving these drugs to these patients is what they need. And when you give these drugs to these patients and they take it, obviously the business thrives. So there is this connection that is absolutely direct, and makes decision making and strategy easy or easier for our industry, because you just need to focus on patients, and you know that everything right is going to happen next.
Thank you so much, Olivier, again for your time and such an inspiring discussion.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Olivier. I echo the students' words, and thank you all for listening to Spread Love in Organizations podcast. We have such an important responsibility as leaders of today to plant those seeds for the leaders of tomorrow. Connect with us on SpreadLoveIO.com, subscribe to your favorite podcast platform. Most importantly, spread love in your organizations and spread the word around you to inspire others and amplify this movement our world so desperately needs.